You've signed your employment contract. Congrats, your first day is approaching. And then HR sends you a document called Employee Onboarding Form. Suddenly you're asked for your tax ID, social security number, tax class, health insurance provider, number of children, and bank account details. If you've just moved to Germany, it's completely normal to wonder, what does all of this mean? The good news is most common HR payroll questions employees have before their first day and show you how to complete the form correctly. What information does HR actually need? Although every company designs its own form, most forms ask for very similar information. Personal information such as your name, address, and date of birth, tax information, including your tax ID and tax class, social security information such as your health insurance provider and social security number, family information including your marital status and children, and finally, your bank account details so payroll knows where to send your salary. Some of these fields are easy, others cause confusion, and this is why we are going to look at them today. Before we go through each field, here's something many employees don't know. Payroll can retrieve some information electronically. For example, once you provide your tax ID, payroll can usually retrieve your tax class and church tax information directly from the German tax authorities. If you've worked in Germany before, payroll may also be able to retrieve your existing social security number. However, payroll cannot retrieve your bank account, and payroll cannot choose a health insurance provider for you. Those are things you need to provide yourself. Now let's go through the questions employees ask most often. One of the most common questions HR receives is, I don't have my tax ID yet. Can I still start working? The answer is usually yes. Your tax ID is an 11-digit number issued by the German tax authorities. If you've already registered your address in Germany, you'll receive it by post. And yes, only by post. There's no email. There is no online download. You'll receive a physical paper letter at your registered address. It usually arrives within 2 to 4 weeks after your address registration. Payroll uses this number to retrieve your electronic tax information. If you don't have it yet, don't panic. Many international employees start work before receiving their tax ID. However, you should give it to your employer as soon as you receive it. If payroll cannot retrieve your tax information for an extended period, they may eventually have to use tax class 6 until the issue is resolved. That usually means much higher tax withholding. Another question HR hears all the time is, I don't have a social security number yet. Can I still start working? Again, usually yes. If this is your first job in Germany, it's completely normal not to have a social security number yet. What is actually more important is choosing your health insurance provider. Once your employer registers you with social security, your social security number can usually be created automatically if you don't already have one. So don't panic if this field is still empty. Instead, make sure you've already chosen your health insurance provider. Question number 3. My children live abroad. Do they still count? Many onboarding forms ask whether you have children. Why does payroll ask this? Because it affects your long-term care insurance contribution. Generally speaking, employees without children pay a little more. Employees with children usually pay less. You might now ask, my children don't live in Germany. Do they still count? Yes, you should still declare that you have children. However, children living outside Germany often cannot be verified automatically through the electronic system. In those cases, your employer or health insurance provider may ask for supporting documents, such as birth certificates. The most important thing is to provide accurate information from the beginning. Question number 4, can I choose my tax class? This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions. Many employees think they can choose whichever tax class they prefer. In reality, payroll does not decide your tax class. Payroll receives it electronically from the German tax authorities. As a general rule, single employees usually have tax class 1. Married employees receive tax class based on where the spouse lives. Both spouses live in Germany. The default is usually tax class 4 for both spouses, but they can change to tax class 3 and 5 based on their income status. Spouse lives outside Germany, for example, in India, China, or United States. You'll often be assigned tax class 1 unless you qualify for special tax rules. For example, some employees with a spouse living abroad, especially within the EU-EE, may still qualify for a married tax class. The Finance decides this. Question number 5. Is this my main job or my side job? Another question you may see on the onboarding form is this your main employment or a secondary employment? Let's look at the example of Martin. Martin works full-time as a software developer from Monday to Friday. This is his primary source of income, so this is his main job. Additionally, on Saturday evenings, he works a few hours as customer support to earn some extra money. Since this is not his primary employment, it is considered his side job. Why does payroll ask this? Because secondary employment is often taxed differently. In many cases, the second job is taxed using tax class 6, which usually results in higher tax withholding. There are exceptions such as certain mini jobs, but that's the general rule. Final question, do I need a German bank account? The short answer is no. You do not need a traditional German bank account, such as Deutsche Bank or Commerzbank, to receive your salary. What your employer generally needs is a SEPA-compatible bank account. This means your account must be able to receive SEPA bank transfers. It doesn't have to be in Germany. It can also be in Denmark, France, the Netherlands, or many other countries that participate in the SEPA payment system. Many employees choose digital banks such as N26, Revolut, or other banks that provide a SEPA-compatible IBAN. The main advantage of digital banks is that they often have low or no monthly account fees, and opening an account is usually quick and convenient. The downside is that most digital banks don't have physical branches, so if you prefer speaking with someone in person, a traditional bank may be a better fit. The most important thing to remember is this. For payroll purposes, what matters is having a SEPA-compatible bank account, not whether your bank is located in Germany. Finally, what should you have ready before payroll is processed? The good news is that you don't need every document on your first day at work. However, there are a few things you should arrange as early as possible to ensure your salary can be processed correctly. 1. Register your address at Meldung. Register your address in Germany as soon as possible. You might have heard the word Anmeldung a lot in your first days in Germany, and this is actually the very first step when you come to Germany. Once you are registered, your tax ID is issued by the German tax authorities and sent by post to your registered address. Without an Anmeldung, you generally won't receive your tax ID. 2. Choose a health insurance provider. Health insurance is mandatory for employees in Germany. 3. Provide a SEPA-compatible bank account. Your employer needs your bank account details to pay your salary. Here is a final checklist you can refer to. The onboarding form may look like just another HR form, but it's a document that determines how your salary is processed from your very first payslip. Understanding it now can help you avoid unnecessary payroll problems later. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.